The Scottish politician was told the party were not helping Britain's negotiating stance in Brexit talks. The Scottish National Party held a cross-party meeting at the Houses of Parliament in an attempt to build up support for Britain to remain in the EU's key institutions, and the talks, coordinated by Ian Blackford, involved the leaders of the Liberal Democrats, Plaid Cymru and the Greens. Speaking on BBC, host Simon McCoy asked whether the talks were helping Britain's negotiating stance in negotiations. The EU BBCBrexit news. Ian Blackford was asked whether he was damaging Britain's negotiating position. He asked, "What do you say to those who say what you're doing is actually not helping the government in its negotiations? Because if those negotiating on behalf of the EU see what is going on, then they will feel in a much stronger position. Actually, you are weakening the government's very position." In those talks, the SNP's Westminster leader insisted he was not damaging Britain's negotiating hand by calling for Britain to remain in the single market and customs union. He said, "I don't see that, and I think even if we look at Theresa May at her Lancaster House speech, she said admittedly that she wants to come out of the single market and the customs union, but she wants a free trade deal with Europe. What do you say to those who say what you're doing is actually not helping the government in its negotiations?" Simon McCoy: "It's not clear to me what the roadmap for that is, and I would simply say to the Prime Minister, let's make sure that we protect the interests of everybody. We have had the Phase 1 agreement with the European Union, and that is supposed to be about not having a border between Ulster and the rest of the island of Ireland, and indeed not having a border between the island of Ireland and the United Kingdom, and having regulator alignment. I would simply say if you want to do that, the simple way to do it is to stay in the single market and the customs union. Let's negotiate on that basis." Mr. Blackford added that although Britons voted to leave the European Union, the British people did not make clear if they wanted to leave or remain in the single market and customs union. The SNP MP also called for Jeremy Corbyn to join the cross-party group and back remaining in the EU's institutions. Mr. Corbyn responded to the offer to attend the talks, branding the meeting as a political gimmick. The Labour Party said in its 2017 general election manifesto that it would leave the single market and customs union. The UK government has also reiterated that it will be leaving the EU institutions when Britain cuts ties with the bloc. Altogether, the four parties meeting to keep Britain in the single market and customs union have just 52 MPs, less than 1/6 of the 316 Conservative MPs.